Hey YouTube, it's Mike here. I got this Murray V-twin 16, or not a V-twin, a twin 16 horsepower tractor. Thing's a bit of a tank. I don't know if you can kind of tell. It's got the 8-inch front wheels and whatever these are. Those 12-inch rears. So yeah, she's a big beast. Kind of a little over horsepowered for most things. Came with a 3-blade mower deck. I ripped it off. It was rotted out. Thought I'd go over a few things. I had a young guy stop in here earlier. Wanted to do a high school project. He was looking for like a riding lawnmower that ran, that he could bolt some sort of a crane type apparatus to. And I don't necessarily want to be rid of this one, but this would be a good platform, and I said I'd work with him on it if he came to me with some plans. So hopefully he can do that. And this video is, I guess, most part for him. So yeah, we have the 16 horse 2-cylinder engine, Briggs & Stratton, electric start. It's a good running little thing. Probably heard it. I mean, it's not new. And actually I don't even know a year on it. Regular 12-volt battery, kind of a finicky, beat up old steering system. Not sure if you noticed or not, I was flicking the headlights. I told him, and I never showed him, that you can run the headlights off the coils, or it's got a switch that'll put it straight to the battery, which is kind of cool if you were going to say make a crane that ran off 12-volt. For a winch or something, you could, and you needed to have lights, you can run off the coil and save the battery and the full charging capacity. And I know you could actually, I think you use like a bridge rectifier or something and connect the two systems to make a higher amperage. I don't know, we could go through that with him if he wants to, but a lot of times it's not worth it, especially for a project, you know, where you're going to use it for an hour. Maybe you just charge the battery or put in a bigger battery or 2 batteries, whatever, and so you have the capacity, just having the extra charging, and then being able to run the lights off something else is kind of fun. I always think it's cool. So that's the front end here. Nothing major, kind of a medium duty axle. One of the first things I noticed when I got this thing, I had to straighten the steering linkage. They use these metal tabs in here. They kind of bend a little bit easy. Now for what he's doing, it wouldn't matter. But if I'm going to keep using it around here, I'm going to end up having to reinforce them. I don't know why some of these bigger tractors, I got another one over here I'm going to do a video on eventually. It's an 18 horse Onan, and it's the same thing. They put some light duty axle in. My stinking little 7 horse Masseys have a better axle than these things, I think. But whatever, it is what it is. You gotta work with it, right? If you know what I mean. Here we come around. This particular unit, I guess, one of the things you don't see on a lot of the modern tractors, it seems, is it does have the clutch and the brake separate. Which is kind of neat. So over here we got the brake, over here we got the clutch. And the throttle, I was trying to explain to him, it seems like not many people understand what these are. These twist throttles where you pull it out to the position and then you twist it to lock it. And then when you want to idle down, you twist it back and shove it in. It's got a regular standard manual choke. That's my lights. So you got your operating lights off and auxiliary lights, so it's a 3-position, and then your standard key, amp gauge. It does charge, it does work. Interesting little transmission on this one too. First and second are on the same notch in the shifter range. So there's first, there's second, and then that's reverse over there. Kind of cool. And I was wishing I could find a way. If we get underneath here, I don't know if I can show you. I don't know. You got the belt, it comes from the motor back partway to a pulley, and up there's got to be a 90-degree gearbox. Now I've never actually got in far enough to see it, because then you go the other direction and there's the clutch belt, or whichever it is. Is that a full-time? That's a full-time. Sorry, that's a spring-loaded belt. The other one must be the clutch up in there. And so that's what drives the rear end. That's almost kind of reminds me, maybe they're like a Massey rear end. I'd have to actually pull them out and take a look. But there's definitely some similarities, and there's your disc brake on that side. And so yeah, that's pretty interesting. I always wanted to mess around with this thing some more. I've never really had a chance. Again with the big wheels on her here. 5-bolt. They're kind of cool. They're not over grippy, and actually these ones I loaded up with a little water, or give them a little extra weight, because my son's been driving it. We have a hill on the property, and I always get nervous he's going to drive on the side and roll it. So one of my solutions is to put a little water in the bottom of the tire, just in the tube here, and kind of lowers the center of gravity and keeps it from wanting to lift up if he ever gets on the side too far. So yeah, there's a little insurance. Seat's pretty mint on it. Fuel tank, gas gauge. Somewhere up in here is this 90-degree box, I guess. There's some bolt holes here for if he's going to attach crane type equipment. Maybe that's one of the spots you could hitch to. But like I pointed out to him before, there's these bolts and these bolts. Now they're a little bit offset, but maybe for something like a winch that'd be okay, because you could have your spool over here and your mounting plate and motor a little bit off to the one side. Now I was just gonna quick center to center here is 3.5 inches. The bottom set of holes is 3 center to center, and then I need more arms. Top to bottom 6 on both sides. The other thing we had talked about is there's this rod here, and I want to say that I've seen these set up with like a 3-point hitch unit. And so if you're going to attach a lifting device, this may be another potential mounting point. So I was going to give them a total width of this back frame here, which is about 13.25 inches. Yeah, maybe 3/8, something like that. A little over 13. And right now she sits, hitch height's about 7.5 inches. So that's kind of some basic dimensions. The rear end's all cast heavy duty. I would imagine you could throw some pretty large tonnage on here and it would never make a difference, except until you roll it. But we also talked about the engineering of this unit. If he's going to put some sort of a tall crane piece, you know, coming up however high, and then want to lift, he's probably going to end up having to put some feet out back here and do the lifting stationary until he can draw things in tight enough and low enough. And then if he wanted to pull something around, that you wouldn't risk catwalking too hard, because I have had issues with that in like mini skidders and stuff I've made out of lawnmowers before, where you get your pull heights too high and you just start rolling them over backwards, and then you got to start adding front end weight. So that's the tractor. Comments, questions, concerns, let me know. I haven't really had a great chance to dive into this. I kind of got it here, started it, and hooked a big heavy duty roller to it, added some water to the tires for traction and hillside use. And actually my son, who my assistant there is 4, he's mostly been the driver. So because it's got a nice low gear ratio, so you can put it in low gear for rolling crops, and he can, instead of having to use the clutch, he can just run the key. which I try to keep him at a minimum, but he can just run the key to start and stop. He gets a bit of a hoot out of that, thinks it's kind of fun. So that's that. Thanks for watching.